This is the Negro Ninja. And in my opinion, one of the most important things to teach people is that Jesus Christ does not love everybody. Jesus Christ does not love everybody. And there are many ways to prove this. All one has to do is just read Matthew alone. Does it sound like Jesus loved the Pharisees that he was always getting into arguments with? They was always testing him. And in Matthew 23:34, he flat out tells them, therefore, behold, I am sending you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them you will kill and crucify, and some of them you will flog in your synagogues and persecute from city to city, so that upon you will fall the guilt of all the righteous blood shed on earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, I don't know how to say his name, whom you murdered between the temple and the altar. Truly I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. That does not sound like love to me, because you got to put it like this. Just think about the concept of the rod. Okay, like Solomon says, when the father loves the son, he gives him the rod. If the father does not love his children, he does not discipline them. So what Jesus is essentially doing is letting them get their feel of their wickedness. Lord, do what you do, because you will be judged for it. This is very similar to that one scene in Dragon Ball Z when Goku was in some dark type of planet fighting this creature that feeds off of his light force energy. He feeds off of whatever light source he can get. And Goku went Super Saiyan and just started charging up, giving him what he wanted until he exploded. Okay, now the funny thing is, this alien is just as wicked as, the Pharisees that Jesus is talking to him. Okay, they thought they was doing something when their doing was their own demise. Okay, just like how God talked about feeding people his wrath and revelations, or like pouring out some type of wine and revelations similar to that. Okay, now this also explains the question to people that are non-believers of why does God allow stuff to happen on earth? Why does God just sit back and watch it happen? He's not sitting back and watching anything happen. Okay, God is making moves. Okay, now just think this back in your childhood. I know a lot of people probably hung around with the wrong crowd. And you may have wondered, how come everybody get away with stuff and I couldn't? You lost and etc. And people would even recommend you more than they would recommend people that don't have a future. Now, while you're young, you just think, oh man, they just picking on me. But the reality is they care more about you than them. Let little hellions go to hell. Okay, and they want to keep the righteous from going the wrong path. That's simple. And some of them probably even told you that bluntly. Okay, God makes sure he corrects his own. And Jesus was not correcting the Pharisees. He was turning them over to themselves. All right, and let's think of another example. Say you are at work and somebody is just rubbing you the wrong way. They usually just step on your toes trying to act like they're the boss or whatever. Somebody could just be rushing you. You just got done doing something. You sitting down to do one thing and they telling you to hurry up. And you be like, you need to chill. I just got down here. I just did 3 of these in a row. I'm trying to do this. Yeah, come on. And you be like, look, I'm dead serious. You need to chill out. And everybody around you see that this is a very stupid situation and they actually know who's wrong. However, they decide to take the side of that person because they like him more. And they would say things like, he was just trying to help. He was just trying to help. Or the boss could jump in. Well, I told him to help you. Okay, now one would think, oh yeah, they're ganging up on me. And they're doing the sin of partiality. And in their mind, they think, well, I'm defending the person I like more, when the reality is they like somebody and they see that you don't like what they're doing, and they are condoning their stupidity. So if they really like that person, they will pull him to the side and say, don't do that. Okay. Partiality is wicked. And I'm going to read a couple of scriptures that let you know that you should not do it as a man of God, as a Christian, or as a woman of God, if you're women watching. All right. The first one is from Leviticus 19:15. You shall do no injustice in judgment. You shall not be partial to the poor, nor defer to the great. But you are to judge your neighbor fairly. That's just one. Because partiality is what made Joseph's brothers conspire to kill him, and they ended up selling him to some slave traders in Egypt. All right. And once again, you know how that worked. They'll just come messing with you because you don't fit in, you don't blend in, and they're gonna always side with whoever because that person is just like them. They don't care if they're right or wrong. You always wrong. All right. All right. Now, once again, a lot of people that are unbelievers that just look at things without a deeper understanding always say that evil wins. Evil always wins. Evil people get away with everything. Okay, now once again, they themselves are showing partiality towards evil by saying something that crazy. All right, so let me read another verse about partiality. All right, and this is going to be from Deuteronomy 10:17. For the Lord your God is the God of gods and the Lord of lords, the great, mighty, and awe-inspiring God, showing no partiality and taking no bribe. Okay, so that flat out tells you right there. A lot of people think that, the wicked prospers because of all the stupid stuff they see going on. God does not contradict himself. Okay, he's the same God that he was back then and that he is now. And the same God that he is now. Okay, God is perfect. He does not waver or tire. His yes means yes and his no means no. Okay, he knows what the heck he is doing. Okay, so it pays to get away from people that always say sorrowful stuff like that, saying that evil always prospers and etc. Okay, and recently I've been hearing people talk about the Antichrist and how they were saying nobody could beat the Antichrist, not even the two witnesses. Now you got to think about how powerful the two witnesses are. They say that they're so powerful that they can unleash literally any plague that they want to over the earth for as long as they want. And anybody that tries to harm them will be burnt by the fire coming out of their mouth. They're real powerful. Nobody could stop them until, the beast rises up and get them. And I heard a pastor say, oh, they was defeated. And I'm like, you a pastor and you talking that type of nonsense. You telling me that I can say what I said at the beginning of this video and you read the Bible more than I do? That's something to wonder about. You have to stop and think. If they was not able to be harmed during that time, but the Antichrist was able to harm them, what does that tell you? That is God giving the Antichrist a taste of that vial that he's pouring out so he can be judged accordingly. For the Antichrist to be thrown in hell, he has to be allowed to do stupid things. Otherwise, do you want the Antichrist going to heaven? I think not. So how is that a win? Evil does not win. They never do. Good always prevails over evil. There's a reason why God allowed most of the disciples to go in the way they went. Just think about it like Street Fighter 3 with Doug Lee's cross counter. He gets into this tired animation like he just wore out, and you touch him, that's pretty much it for you. Take off at least 25% sometimes, or 15% of your health, depending on the circumstances, or more if it's done in the right circumstances. All right. And to really drive this point home, let's talk about the wheats and the tares, and how Jesus used the parable of the farmer sowing the wheat. Okay, and then they get up in the morning and realize that some weeds is growing with them. And Jesus was like, oh, the enemy came and planted those. And they was like, should we uproot them? And he was like, we don't want the weeds to uproot the wheats. We'll just wait till it's time to harvest. and we'll just cut out the weeds and throw them into the fire. He knows what the heck he is doing. Everything that God does is perfect. Nobody can comprehend themselves, so they automatically just act like the wicked is in control when they are not. When Jesus separates the wheat from the tares is not going to be able to hang on to the wheat, so it won't be thrown into the fire. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And that's basically what it is. Now, once again, does that sound like Jesus and God love everybody? Let me just let this sit here for a second. Does it sound like they love everybody? Sounds like they have people that they love, and they're going to put on the right side, and people that they hate over there into the fire. People need to stop teaching people, because I heard some pastors talking about some comments you are. In the Bible, it may have said that, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to change, like how he got Paul. Paul was the straight devil at first. Jesus came to Paul as he was, and he purified Paul. Jesus loves those that follow righteousness and that accepts him, and that's the only way you can get to God. And that's all I got to say for this rant. And this has been the Negro Ninja, bringing you your Negro message for today. Negro out.